Adapt, you guys are, in lots of consolidation, lots of acquisition in the space.
Yeah.
Sort of, I mean, tell me about, let's start with the partnership with AOL and what that looks like, the acquisition. We talked a little bit last night, but just in a reality, what is that day-to-day operationally for Adapt?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think it's been Tim Armstrong and Bob Lord now for the past year and a half. I mean, it's been a 10-year journey in building this platform that will be won by AOL. So a lot of talk about openness and open architecture, agnostic to screens, data, all of that. This is a great illustration of that. So Adapt TV was one of the biggest acquisitions kind of in that journey, but there's been a few after that, Convertro, Vidable, Precision Demand. So we continue to build out the stack. Now we are all organizing around the buy side and the sell side within AOL platforms. All of that will codify in One by AOL. And again, I think when you look at the competitive set now, it's more in kind of the Google, the Adobe, more enterprise software solutions for both the buy and the sell side. So on a day-to-day, we are working seamlessly with all of the other product development, sales, strategy leads from all of those companies that have now come together under this one umbrella. And it's been, I think, a very unique acquisition because we have helped kind of drive the direction of what's happening rather than just getting folded into this massive organization.
Right.
So it's been an amazing opportunity and journey for us to contribute to this building towards One by AOL.
Right. I mean, so I don't know AOL's numbers per se, but I know that AOL is interesting, right? Because I think with your one platform, your AOL on platform, like you guys have done a good job of proliferating both a premium content agenda and a video agenda, and premium content overall with HuffPo and everything else. But then also, now your technology solutions. But your content business models have always been enabled by your technology inherently, right? It was Five Guys. It was like, the platforms, the player, and how you proliferate that with your own and operated versus, the syndicated stuff. Like, it's always been technology underneath. How does Adapt fit into that? Because if you look at it, AOL's been driving really sexy premiums. Everybody has in premium video because it's illiquid.
Yeah.
So when programmatic comes in, where's the incentive to move over to that technology platform if through the player you're moving, $20 to $30 CPMs on premium video? Like, how does that all come together?
Yeah, well, we call it culture and code. So the culture side is the premium content and distribution of premium content. The code side is the platforms. I think they are, it's a great symbiotic relationship because you still have these premium environments. We still help to syndicate and monetize premium content for, the largest publishers and media companies out there. But programmatic is a good complement to that. And as you mentioned before, it's moving into this reserved kind of environment. So programmatic can operate at a lot of different levels. If it's really response-driven, high efficiency in these broad exchanges and marketplaces. But where we are moving towards is that premium content sale and the programmatic sale are almost together now. We've partnered with Freewheel. We've partnered with a lot of the premium publishers out there. And it's about the data-driven decision. It doesn't have to be in a biddable environment, but it's the same methodology, same technology, same use of data to make that application in full episode player in those premium environments.
Right.
So we've made 100% of our inventory programmatic in Canada. We've moved a ton of our O&O inventory into programmatic environments here in the US.
And you guys are player agnostic,
and we're doing that
server
globally.
Agnostic, everything,
Yeah,
correct?
I think, we saw this 10 years ago. So it's good to see the industry's coming around to this open approach. We have, both sides, buy and sell, marketplace in between, across display, video, and now television. None of them are a closed system. None of them require you to use all of them. So some of our biggest competitors are also our biggest partners in different lines of business.
Right. So you're the first to sort of mention performance and video and put them in the same. Tell me about that. Tell me about what percentage if we look at just straight sort of programmatic through either open exchanges or private exchanges. If you look at the total inventory that moves through your pipes as the marketplace, that moves through the marketplace, what percentage is actually bought more on a performance basis than it is on an up funnel kind of audience basis?
Yeah, I was talking more holistically because we have the display business, we have the video business.
Right.
I think video is still more of a brand-driven, but I guess the distinction is when you look at high efficiency kind of exchange-based buying as opposed to that full episode player, really premium environment that you're bringing data into the mix. Historically we had been, the DSP side of it had been all of the exchanges, but another unique position for us is all of the private marketplaces. So there's always been this kind of lean towards a more premium and controlled environment. And I think, all of these operate together, and that's why Convertro is a big acquisition for us with multi-touch attribution because, ultimately, yes, there's brand goals, there's response goals, but we've been talking a lot about ROI and like real business outcomes.
Yeah.
So whatever the medium, whatever the format, now we have the intelligence to be able to understand not only what is driving ROI and latency being in real time rather than months and years, and then apply that intelligence. So if video is driving great response, but is not actually planned in a media mix modeling as a response-based part of the medium, you have the intelligence that can redeploy dollars, linear or in a digital environment. If display or search is doing that, you at least have the intelligence to understand how to move those dollars around.
So I want to close the loop because theoretically the conversation is about television, right?
Yeah.
So the reality is, if we just call spade a spade, programmatic TV ain't pretty. I mean, it's not, right? No matter how great the technology is, it's not pretty yet. Like, let's just no bullshit this, right?
So the not pretty part is all of the manual processes to actually get the spot to the provider, get it on air. And it still takes 2 weeks to traffic it, and it's 2 week flight, right? There is beautiful things happening though in the decisioning optimization.
Elegant,
and then,
I think was Cody's word.
Yeah, well, I don't want to use that because that's already been used. And then
I steal a lot of stuff, man. Feel free.
Yeah, so it's an elegant solution. But yeah, I mean, there's that middle, that last mile of like actually getting the creative traffic instructions to the provider.
So how do you straddle that chasm?
Yeah, well, it's the industry has to come together. So I mean, we take an approach of working. There's all these disparate traffic and billing and sales systems that are coming along. The Syntex, the Envisions, all of these legacy companies, they've recognized, right? I mean, they have customers who need to be future-proofed to participate in a programmatic environment, whether it be digital or TV.
Yep.
So they're starting to come around. It used to be very driven by, okay, now my customers told me to do something. I have a 6-month development cycle. I'll do that for them. They're now being much more proactive in saying, we know where the market's going. We have to start developing APIs and tools to be able to plug into this emerging programmatic, if you want to use that term, television ecosystem. But it's early. It's super, super early. But as I think a lot of people have said here, there's so much incremental value that can be derived from better targeting, better attribution, better measurement and optimization, that when we get to that true automation, that's going to be a whole nother layer of efficiency.
But see, this is where perhaps my little brain just continues to go in loops, because the business cycles of video are becoming more akin to television, right? Perhaps that's because the big horse always leads, right? So the economics of television are much sexier. So the idea is, if it looks like, smells like, is sold like, bought like TV, it's more like TV, right? But then alternatively, we talk about theoretically the infrastructure and the delivery and the fulfillment of television becoming more like digital. And fundamentally, there's a point that what I can't get my head around is that intellectually, they are somewhat divergent causes, right? Because it feels like, as my father would say, we're pissing in the wind if you're trying to automate and get more efficiency, but then at the tail end, you're running the business cycles in a non-real-time way. Where's that all come together?
Yeah, but
you're guys in the middle of it.
But they don't have to come together, right? You don't have to have complete automation, dynamic ad insertion. Tracy made a great comment. If she can improve the accuracy of targeting and the accountability a year in advance, that's a huge move.
Right.
6 months, even a week. You don't necessarily have to have these biddable environments and real-time insertion. TV just doesn't operate that way, and it doesn't need to move. I mean, think about it. If you found 10% more accuracy and 10% efficiency on a $70 billion business, the value for everybody in the ecosystem is huge.
But if your incremental cost of servicing it and operationalizing it increases by 15%, then that's the feudal, the feudal nature of it. That's what I'm struggling with, is how do you guys look at that? Because you're an operational tool and you're focusing on driving efficiency.
Right.
Where's that sort of focus for you?
Well, we're building automation where it can be applied immediately. And that is data processing, that is targeting, that's measurement, that's optimization and attribution. I mean, it takes a lot of people, a lot of spreadsheets, a lot of disparate user interfaces to log into to do those things. If you can bring those all into one environment, that accelerates the pace. Reduces the need of lots of people. It's different people. It could be reduced staffs, but ultimately it's, we can redeploy those people to do other things to drive value for advertisers, for agencies. So there's a lot of efficiency to be found there. There is definitely basic, painful workflow automation stuff. How do I get my order there? How do I get my as run times back? How do I get my reporting? And we're doing work there. It's a lot more painful. It's not as seamless. You can't just throw an ad tag out there. And that'll create efficiency as well. So I don't think there's a net increase in cost. In the beginning, I mean, any new venture, it's investment in people, it's investment in data and technology. But I think everybody in the room is not building businesses for 12 months. They're looking at 3 and 5 year horizons. So making investments now are going to pay huge dividends immediately, but much more in the long term.
Got it. But at the end of the day, it's opportunity. I think that's the
huge,
for all of us
for everybody.
to win.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you got it.
Thanks, Dan.